Now, I still find this totally weird, having no hands on the steering wheel and the tractor does everything by itself. Right, let's get to work. Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to review the John Deere 6195R. So this is some bit of kit. So you'll see here I have a computer screen, so this is built into the tractor, and basically everything you need to do with the tractor is on this screen. At the moment, yeah, I'm pretty much driving hands-free and the tractor just knows where to go. Which is, I still find the most strangest thing, to have no steering wheel in front of you or just leave it out of the way and the tractor drives itself. So I'm going to turn now at the end of the field. I still have to do that manually, but then the tractor will drive the rest of it, and my job is to keep an eye on the harrow behind me. Okay, so you can see here I have the little John Deere tractor, and this is the implement behind me, which is basically the power harrow down there. So we've set the depth, or the width of it is to 5 meters. There's 5 meters, and these are all the parallel lines that are invisible across the field. So that's how the GPS knows where we should be going. And we're just going to drive down here. You can see I've done a bit here, and this bit here hasn't been done. So we'll just watch here as we get closer to it. You see all the little blue lines starting to appear. It beeps every so often telling me that I'm now approaching a white line, which is the lines that we are meant to follow. So just reverse back a little bit. So we're currently not in line, but that's okay. So we're just going to tell the tractor we're going to select forward gear. That's forward gear, yeah. We're going to just start rolling. Drop the implement behind us. Now we're going to tell it to do auto steer. And just like that, without touching the steering wheel, the tractor just knows where to go. So we can now, that's the steering done now until we get to the other end. So that's all the land that's been done so far. That's the next tract. And oh, there's the track we just came down. So you don't actually have to even do them one after the other. You can just skip random lines, as long as you do the whole field eventually. That's all that matters. And the tractor just knows where to go and what to do. It's great. So basically my job now is just to keep an eye on the harrow here, make sure no big stones get stuck in it, and make sure I don't drive into anyone. So Brian is over there somewhere sowing maize. So maize is like corn on the cob, and it's a special variety that it isn't grown for popcorn, and it isn't grown to become corn on the cob, but it is grown for maize silage, and the animals will eat that. So dairy cows will eat that and then produce milk off maize. Yeah, this tractor is absolutely amazing. So there is so many buttons, loads of buttons all over the place, but there's a few major buttons that you just mind and you watch everything. You don't need to really drive, because the GPS is going to drive on your behalf, and it keeps everything nice and straight. So you can see we're getting close to the top up here. So when we get to the top, we can either come down this line here, or we can skip and go down the next line, or any of these obviously lines all the way across, and we'll see which side to go, because we don't have to do anything now in sequence. Once the whole field gets covered, that's all that matters. So yes, we're approaching now the end, so we just have to turn. So we will be lifting the harrow probably right now. That's it now up. It's giving out that I've taken over, that it should be in charge, but obviously we have to turn around eventually. I think we'll go down, so we'll pick one of these little lines here and we'll go down it. We won't do one that's parallel, we'll do the next one in the middle there somewhere. Yeah, we'll go for that one. Okay, so this is the joystick, and this is probably the most important piece of the entire tractor. So we can select forward and backwards here, or we can tell the shuttle to go forward and backwards. We don't need to actually press the clutch. We can if we want, but majority of the time we don't press the clutch. there's a little safety button back here, so once we press it and then press forward, tractor starts going forward. We can press the safety button again and then pull it over this side. Now we're going backwards, so we'll just line everything up. We're going to go for this line over here, the blue line. Now we're going to stop here, so we're not in line, so we're going to go there, which is basically over here, and we should be going down here. So we're going to just drop the harrow, and then we're going to tell it to go into auto steer, and it's going to turn the steering wheel that way. The steering wheel itself doesn't move, just the front wheels move, which I still find really weird, that you could be driving and the steering wheel doesn't move at all, but the wheels just turn themselves. So it's absolutely amazing. I'm still, it's like driving a Tesla or something amazing like that, or a jet fighter. It's probably more like a jet fighter, like you have. It's brilliant. Right, okay, let's drop the harrow. Harrow's dropped. We should have been moving forwards, but anyway. Right, tell us to go into auto steer. There we are, turning. It's now lining everything up. You can see we've done a turn just there, and we're going down this line. So there's a gap at this side, and then that's the piece we did the first time, and that's the piece we came up over here. So we're going to go down here, and then we can decide on the next run where to go. And you can see how much we've actually done here. So obviously you take a measurement of the harrow behind us, it's 5 meters. So you tell the tractor it's 5 meters wide, it knows how far back the harrow is. So then as you get to each end, it also tells you your width and when to lift, or when you should have lifted. There's a million and one features. I only know the basic one because it's my second day driving the tractor and I'm still learning. There's so much to learn, but on the other side it's really obvious. A lot of stuff, it's like, oh yeah, that just makes sense. So John Deere have done an amazing job at the way they've laid everything out. Like, for a complete novice who doesn't drive John Deere's as an everyday, I've never driven this tractor before, and it is actually very, very simple how everything works, and just basically just do whatever the screen tells you to do. And once everything is set up, the first day there, or when you just roll into the field, once you set everything up, it's amazing. So I set all these lines up and they were all going left to right, so that piece of the field is done. So the field is in the shape of an L, so it's kind of hard to kind of find the easiest way to sow the field. So we set up all of this first, and once that is done, that's the shortest ground. Then we're going to do the long ground, which is what we're doing now. Yep, it's absolutely brilliant. So I can actually steer the tractor. I can force it to go that way. You can see it's slightly gone off course. It's giving out, and then there we are, back on course again. So there's a little bit wavy line, so I can do it again. It's giving out. You're no longer in auto steer, and it's back in course again. I just find it absolutely amazing. Like, I actually just play with the tractor and be mean to it and like point in the wrong direction just to make the auto steer a lot, because I just find, like, I know, like, obviously you use GPS, you've used sat nav, but to see sat nav no longer just telling you, oh, recalculating, you missed the turn, but actually forcibly turning the steering wheel. It's like magic to me. That's the only way to describe it, and it is actually amazing. I know, like, if you've probably been on the tractor for a month or 5 months, whatever, you think it's nothing, but I still think this is amazing. It's so futuristic. It's, people say it's like a Tesla, but like it is like the auto steer or the auto drive on a Tesla. Like, it, obviously we're going at 8 kilometers, 6 kilometers, and Tesla's doing 120 kilometers, but and we're obviously in a field where there's no other people around you, but it is just fantastic. Right, let's turn this thing around and we go again. So we should always be moving when we lift. Right, turn around. Don't need to clutch. It's going to give out to us. It wants to know which of these little parallel lines we're on, so we'll just go to the next one. turned around. There we go. Just reverse back there a little bit. Don't want to go into the hedge. Now we're close enough to the hedge. Right. Let's yeah, we're slightly off course, so we'd be going out that way when we should be going that way. So that's grand. Let's drop it. Tell auto steer kick in. Okay, there's a hard bit of ground just underneath us there. So after finding the right path and straightening everything up, there was a little bit of crookedness. It's after straightening it all up. And we're parallel to this line, and we're parallel to the next line with a gap in between. So once we get to the very top, we can come down in between the two of them and it'll be absolutely perfect. Okay, so you can see that it is at 6 kilometers. It's in auto steer. That's me done. Read a book or anything now, like tractor just drives itself. I should probably actually be looking behind me, making sure the harrow's working. But everything is working perfect. Like I could actually probably make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee while the tractor's driving and not really worry where we're going. If I had a really long field, it'd be great. This is quite a short field, but you get the idea that you don't have to steer. So why is it like? Should this be on every tractor, or would it make farmers really lazy? Well, the thing is, if you work 12 hours and you're driving all the time, you're watching both where we're going forward, what's behind us, all the ground underneath. There's a lot of stuff happening, and you are in your mind, you're watching everything, and you're paying attention to so much going around. But if you can get rid of one of the things that you're in charge of, so that's basically steering and keeping everything in line, now suddenly you're watching other stuff and making sure maybe you're being economical with your fuel, that you're keeping out the right distance so that you're not overlapping unnecessarily, and suddenly you're less tired and you can do more work, or you can just come home and you can spend time with your kids or whatever you like to do, but you're not exhausted. And then the next day when you get up, you're also still not tired because you didn't have a stressful day, you had an okay day, which is, that is exactly what it should be all about. Right. Stopped. Okay, let's line it up now to go in between both of these. So the tractor you can see the GPS lines there. Okay, so we're way off course at the moment. So we're just reversing back. Okay, so you can see that's the previous route, that's the next one. We haven't done this one. We're slowly making our way over with a gap here and a gap here, and obviously still to do everything over here. And these are the lines. Obviously I was turning here, and this is I think we decided we'd aim over that direction and let the auto steer it around. So that's what we did. That's why that one's a bit curvy. So now we're fairly lined up. We're ready to go. I'm just going to put the steering wheel the wrong direction just so that auto steer can kick in. Right, let's go forward. So safety off, hitting forward. We're in neutral. Press the wrong button. I'm still learning. So yeah, we have neutral here. Neutral's on, so it won't go forward. Then we have to give it a good shove forward. So now we're in forward gear, ready to go. Drop the harrow. Now we're in the wrong direction. And just like that, the steering wheel no longer needs to be used. It knows where we're going. And away we go. So it's filling the gap in between the two of them. And that's what we're doing. Like, I still find it amazing, you know, where sat-nav that you drive with, or having sat-nav on your phone, it's only an indirect message, so it's only telling you, okay, the left turn is coming up here, the right turn, stay going for so many kilometers until the next turn, where like this, it's the next step up again, where it's using GPS, but it's actually taking control of the vehicle and it's going to steer everything for you. Now, I still find this totally weird, having no hands on the steering wheel and the tractor does everything by itself. But I just want to say this is an amazing tractor. So that's your PTO. You have high revs here or lower revs, so I think that's 540, 1000 speed RPM. For your gears, it's automatic, so you just tell it to go forwards or backwards. You can set a high speed and low speed here. This is to raise and lower the lift arms. There's another one over here which folds in the harrow, so it's a butterfly harrow or a double harrow. There's loads and loads of options. So if you want to turn on your air conditioning, so just like on a Tesla, you'd press air conditioning here. We can select this here. You can press plus and minus, or lower it down, do that. You can set the temperature. Let's go a little bit colder because it's quite hot in here. We can select, do you want to go to the windscreen, to your feet, windscreen and feet, or just your face, so, or hot. You can either have an air conditioning cold, air conditioning hot, just turn it off. Like, you can do so much. It's just amazing. Obviously you can see, so all of these lines are wavy. That's literally me just playing with the GPS, where I should be keeping everything straight, so that, yeah, most of that's my fault. But it's still amazing. So we're getting near the end, so we should put down the steering wheel, and we're getting ready to stop and lift the harrow. So while we're moving, lift the harrow. Harrow's up off the ground. You can hear the pressure coming off the engine. So I have to press the clutch there just because I should have been paying more attention, not videoing everything. Turn around. So we're lining up, but obviously you have to go back a bit because we're too far forward. Come on, tractor, go back. So you can see, like, a lot of the time on purpose I don't line it up because I think watching just the GPS set up the tractor is amazing. So like, if you're a really good operator, you'll always stop exactly on the white line, and then you just tell all the steer to continue on, and there's no like steering left and right, it just does everything perfectly. But that's no fun either. So now we're going forward, set it up, trying to roll forward, drop the harrow, go to the hard bit there. Now we're going to tell this is the auto steer number 12, and here it's clicking on. So we're a little bit out of alignment, so it's straightening everything up. Away we go. So you can see it's going all the way up to 6 kilometers. Right. Okay, so let's put the steering wheel away. Okay, that's out of the way. Okay, this is another really cool feature. So this, if you have a very fancy, I think it's like iPhone 10 onwards, or some of the other phones, that you can have wireless charging. So you just tell it, hello. It opens. We put our phone onto it. Closes, and then obviously if it's near a phone it would charge, and then to release it there's a little, like, just basically just rub it on the back. Hello. Take your phone away. Close it down again. Go, hello. You don't have to say hello, I just hate saying that. Must be all right. And take your phone away. So that's some of the joys when you have auto steer. You can end up messing, and you don't need to steer because it's doing it all itself. Okay, we're in the next part of the field and we're still tilling away, so we can put away the steering wheel again. So now let's have a look at some of the substitute features. So I'm still learning, so there's a lot of stuff that I don't know what it is, but so you go to menu and there's a rake of stuff all here. You go into applications, you go to calculator, there's loads and loads of buttons. So we go in from menu. You can also select all of these, but you can just, these are fast menus as well. So we can select quick guidance or guidance. That's showing us where we are. You can turn it on and off. So this one here, you can get auto steer on it. So at the headland, so if you're in a really big field, you could probably, I'm guessing this is what you can do. So without touching the steering wheel, you can tilt to the other end of the field with Autotrac. It'll actually turn the vehicle around and bring it back up the field as well. So like, I have heard of these guys in Australia where like they were in this monster sized field where it took them, I think it was like half an hour or an hour to get from one end of the field to the other, and it was on very older technology. It wasn't this new technology, it was older technology, but they had GPS, and they'd literally set the tractor at a slow speed. They would get out of the tractor and play cards in the Jeep while they waited, and the tractor would drive on because everything was GPS and it'd drive in a straight line. Then they'd race to the other end of the field in the Jeep, jump into the tractor. The tractor's only going at 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers an hour. Turn the tractor around and go back again. And unfortunately, what happened was the lads fell asleep while playing cards, and they woke up and the tractor was in the next farm. It had gone through the hedge into the field and into the next field. So yeah, don't do that. Right, speed better, back, still on track, everything looks good, nothing to report. So guys, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.